Everyone talks about retiring to Florida or Arizona, low taxes, warm weather, golf courses. You've heard it 1,000 times. But what if the best retirement towns in America are not the ones on those generic top 10 lists? What if they are the strange, forgotten places where your Social Security check does not just cover the basics? It actually buys you a life that sounds made up until you see the numbers. We are talking about towns where the streets literally refuse to form right angles, where you are legally required to steal rocks from a state park, and where you can earn $50 just by standing in a chapel and watching two strangers get married. These are 10 real U.S. towns where $1,900 a month in Social Security plus a $500 side hustle adds up to something that looks like a comfortable life in a place with actual character. And we are counting down to the strangest one. Number 10, Quincy, Illinois. They call it the Gem City, and for retirees watching every dollar, the name fits. Rent for a historic apartment near the Mississippi River runs about $650 a month. With $2,400 combined, you are living comfortably with money left over for weekend drives along the river bluffs. But Quincy earned a different title back in 1838, one that rarely shows up in the history you learned in school. During the Mormon War, when thousands of starving refugees were fleeing violent mobs in Missouri, the entire population of Quincy took them in. Every family opened their doors, every home made room. The town received an official designation as a city of refuge, and many of those refugees stayed and built the stunning German architecture that still lines the streets today. That architecture is the side hustle. Quincy has one of the largest concentrations of historic German South Side buildings in the country. New homeowners constantly need deed searches and house biographies, and retirees with a little patience and a library card earn steady cash as architectural researchers. Number 9, Pi, Nevada. Nevada has no state income tax, which immediately makes your Social Security check stretch further. Pi sits about an hour west of Las Vegas, but it feels like a different planet. Desert flats, a wide open sky, and monthly utility bills that a $500 side income can cover entirely. The town's claim to fame is Art Bell. He created Coast to Coast AM, the legendary late-night paranormal radio show that millions of people tuned in to during the 90s and the early 2000s. Bell broadcast from a high-tech compound in the Pahrump Desert, and his presence turned this tiny town into a mecca for UFO hunters and conspiracy enthusiasts. That legacy left behind something useful. Pahrump has a surprisingly high density of home recording studios. Retirees with a decent speaking voice pick up remote voiceover gigs, narrating audiobooks, recording training data for AI companies, and doing commercial spots. The infrastructure is already there, waiting. Number 8, Altoona, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does not tax retirement benefits, and Altoona keeps monthly expenses for a single retiree at around $1,600. That leaves $800 of breathing room every month on our $2,400 budget. The downtown still has that old railroad town charm, with brick storefronts and diners that have not changed their menus since 1975. The town has a bizarre legal relic. Under Pennsylvania's old blue laws, it is still technically illegal to buy or sell a car on Sunday. Dealerships sit empty with rows of vehicles behind locked gates, while the rest of the town goes about its business. Altoona residents have spent decades perfecting what they call the Monday morning rush, when dealerships flood with customers the moment the clock strikes midnight. Altoona also sits at the foot of the Horseshoe Curve, a world-famous railroad engineering marvel that draws train enthusiasts from every corner of the globe. Retirees here flip rare railfan memorabilia on eBay to a global audience of collectors who will pay serious money for vintage railroad artifacts. If you know the difference between a Pennsylvania Railroad lantern and a reproduction, you already have an edge. Number 7, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Sticking with Pennsylvania for good reason, same tax advantages, and Johnstown adds something you will not find anywhere else on Earth. It has the world's steepest vehicular inclined plane, climbing at a 71.9% grade. That inclined plane was built after the catastrophic Great Flood of 1889 that killed over 2,000 people. It was designed to evacuate the entire town to higher ground in seconds. Housing here is so affordable that $2,400 a month covers a 3-bedroom house and a grocery budget that does not require coupons. The town sits in a valley between forested ridges in the Allegheny Mountains, and the scenery alone makes the cost of living feel like a joke. The town is a National Historic District goldmine, and historical societies are constantly hiring people to digitize local archives. Old photographs, newspaper clippings, handwritten factory records from the steel era. Retirees who enjoy research find steady work as heritage documentarians, preserving the story of a town that refused to disappear. Number 6, Deming, New Mexico. They call it the city of windmills, and the math is almost too good. Rent averages under $700 a month in a sun-drenched desert climate. Your $2,400 goes a long way when your heating bill barely exists. Everyone knows about the Golden Spike in Utah, where the first transcontinental railroad was completed. Almost nobody knows about Deming's Silver Spike, where the second transcontinental line was finished in 1881. The town also houses the world's largest chili processing plant, which means the food scene punches way above its weight class. The side hustle here is genuinely fun. Deming sits next to Rockhound State Park, and this park has a rule that sounds made up but isn't. Visitors are legally required to take rocks home, up to 15 pounds per person. Retirees work as gem guides, leading tourists to spots rich with geodes, jasper, and agate. $25 a tour, a few tours a week, and you've covered your side hustle target without breaking a sweat. Number 5, Independence, Kansas. Total cost of living runs 30% below the national average. On $2,400 a month, you are not just getting by here. You are eating out, catching movies, and still putting money away. The town square has that classic small-town Kansas feel, with a courthouse, a couple of family restaurants, and neighbors who actually know your name. Every fall, Independence hosts Niwala. It is Halloween spelled backward. It is the largest annual festival in Kansas, and during those 9 days, the population explodes from about 8,500 to 75,000. Carnival rides line the main streets, parade floats take over downtown, and the entire town transforms into something out of a county fair fever dream. Retirees cash in during the chaos. Driveway parking goes for $20 a day. Chili cook-off prep stands near the festival grounds pull steady foot traffic. Some residents rent spare rooms. 9 days of hustle, and many locals make enough to coast through a quiet winter. Number 4, Dillon, South Carolina. Property taxes here are famously low, and if you are over 65, the first $50,000 of your home's value is tax exempt. That is a significant chunk of most homes in a town where real estate is already affordable. Dillon earned the title Wedding Capital of the East because South Carolina historically had no waiting period for marriage licenses. That created a marriage mill industry that still thrives today. The local chapel performs over 7,000 weddings a year in a town of 6,000 people. Do the math on that. More weddings than residents every single year. On weekends, you will see couples lined up outside in everything from jeans and boots to full wedding gowns. The side hustle writes itself. Eloping couples show up without witnesses because that is part of the point of eloping. Retirees make $50 for 15 minutes of standing there, smiling and signing a piece of paper. Some bring a Polaroid camera and charge a little extra for photos. It is the lowest effort gig on this entire list. Number 3, Weirton, West Virginia. West Virginia recently eliminated taxes on Social Security for most residents, and Weirton's median home prices sit nearly 60% below the national average. Your monthly budget here feels like a small fortune. Weirton holds a geographic record that sounds impossible until you look at a map. It's the only city in America that sits in 2 different counties while stretching from the Ohio border to the Pennsylvania border across a strip of land only 5 miles wide. You can walk across the entire width of West Virginia's northern panhandle in an afternoon. That frozen-in-time industrial look caught Hollywood's attention decades ago. Weirton was the primary filming location for The Deer Hunter and Super 8. Production companies still scout the area for gritty, authentic backdrops, and locals who know the town earn money as informal location scouts, keeping an eye out for film crews searching for that perfect rusted bridge or abandoned mill. Number 2, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Arkansas does not tax Social Security income, and Victorian-era apartments in Eureka Springs rent between $750 and $900 a month. The town is built into the Ozark Mountains, and every street curves and bends around natural springs. There's a local legend that doubles as architectural fact. No two streets in the historic district intersect at a 90-degree angle. The town was built around the winding mountain springs, creating a labyrinth that confuses GPS systems to this day. Delivery drivers famously hate it. First-time visitors get lost within minutes. Residents love it because it keeps the town feeling like a secret that only locals truly know how to navigate. The Crescent Hotel sits at the top of the hill, a massive stone building from the 1880s, known as America's most haunted hotel. Ghost tours run almost every night, and they need assistance to manage sessions for electronic voice phenomena on recording devices. It is low-stress work, mostly evening hours, and tourists tip well when they think they have heard something spooky. Number 1. Bisbee, Arizona. Average rent for a hillside cottage runs about $850 a month. On $2,400 a month, you cover essentials and still have what locals call a knee maintenance fund. You will understand why in a second. Bisbee is built into the steep walls of Mule Pass Canyon, and many homes have no road access at all. None. Zero. To get to your front door, you climb. The town has over 1,000 historic staircases built during the WPA era, carved directly into the canyon walls. Residents haul their groceries, their mail, and their furniture up dozens of stone steps every single day. This is where the most creative side hustle on the list lives. Retirees work as staircase concierges, helping older residents and overwhelmed tourists haul supplies up the steps using modified pulley systems and heavy-duty backpack rigs. $25 a trip, multiple trips a day, and you get a cardio workout that most gym memberships cannot match. Some concierges specialize in moving day, charging a premium to get furniture up narrow stairways that no truck could ever reach. A town where the commute is vertical, the neighbors wave from balconies carved into rock, and retirement means you will never need a stair climber machine again. So now you've got 10 towns where a social security check and a simple side hustle buy more than just survival. They buy a story. If you want more videos breaking down places where your money goes further than you'd ever expect, hit subscribe. I cover spots like these every week. Click the video on screen for another one you're going to want to see.